Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from simpleprogrammer.com. And I got a question about, do you need to speak English language fluently in order to work abroad as a junior programmer? So this is from Arthur, and he says, I'd like to apply for a junior programmer developer position in the UK, but I'm a foreigner, and I'm afraid that my spoken English language may not be enough. I learn it every day, but obviously most of my time I use my native language. I know that if I'd start to work with English people daily, then I'd become better. I have only problems with speaking and listening a British accent, which is much harder than American, but I do not have problems with reading or writing. What is your opinion, John? So I'll be totally honest with you. I think that when you work in an English-speaking environment and you don't speak English very fluently, that it is a big disadvantage for you, and it's probably a disadvantage in getting a job. I mean, this should be common sense. You know, a lot of people don't like to say it, but it's true, right? Communication is really big, and I think that today in software development field, more so than anything else, communication is so important. That's why I make this channel. That's why I encourage you to write blog posts and to develop your communication skills, because I think that is really important. I know in my career myself that the biggest thing that helped my career more than anything else was developing my communication skills, being able to communicate with people. That's the asset that helped me more than my technical skills, right? So does that mean that if you have an accent or you can't speak perfect fluent English, that you can't get a job as a developer in the US or the UK or somewhere where it's English speaking? No, there's plenty of developers that do, but just realize that it's going to be somewhat of a disadvantage to you, and realize that the more fluent and that you are in English, and the easier it is to understand you, and the better your communication skills are, the better off that you're going to be, right? That's going to be something that is going to be useful and helpful to you. Now, as a junior programmer, does that make a difference? I don't think that matters as much, right? I think, you know, that you're going to have to, as a junior programmer, it's already a little bit more difficult, right, to get a job than it is as a senior programmer. So take that into account. I would say this, though, that I think you're making a false assumption by assuming that you're going to better develop your English skills to speak fluently by working in an environment where you have English-speaking coworkers. It might improve to some degree, but I have worked with enough people that had English as a second language that I know that their skills did not improve very much, right? That they still spoke with a very hard to understand accent, and that their phraseology was still a little bit odd. Okay, so if you can read and write, that's going to help you. But I would definitely, if you're really serious about this, maybe you go through some language coaching, right? It might be worth it to either try to go through a voice coaching to help reduce accents and help you to understand English and American accents, and some language courses to be able to help you to speak a little bit more fluently and to speak with more of speak in more of the way that Americans or people from UK speak as well, right? So that's just something to think about. Again, these are things that are not critical. I don't think that it's going to prevent you from getting a job. I don't think it's going to prevent you from advancing your career. But if you want to, you know, if you're thinking about this, if you really want to have the best shot, these are the things that I would do in your situation. I would be going and I would try to get someone to coach me on trying to reduce my accent, and I would try to be I'd be trying to go to an English course that I could take that was going to help me to speak a little bit more fluently. I'd be doing a lot of reading and a lot of writing, which it sounds like you're already doing, but do more of that and get someone to correct your writing. And in fact, one thing that might actually help you as well is just doing writing a lot, since you're already writing, and having someone not just correct your you're writing as far as the words, but the grammar of it and the structure of it. Tell them to read it and then to give you feedback and to mark it up and to say, look, this is what you should say. This phrase sounds awkward, so that you get that kind of feedback. And once you get that kind of feedback, I think that will help you a lot, because just communicating the message, yeah, you can get it across, but there's certain things that you might say, right, that are going to be flags that are communication, like it doesn't translate as well, right? So, just for example, I know that a lot of Indian developers say, I have doubts about, right? And that's sort of, I understand what you're saying well, I do now, because I've worked with enough Indian developers to know that I have doubts about this, what that means. But when I first heard that, I didn't understand. That just means I have a question, right? I didn't get that. So when you say that, that might be harmful, right? Where to understanding, to communication. But it'd be real simple if you understand that when Americans hear that they don't understand what you mean, then instead of saying I have doubts, you might start saying I have a question. And then, it's little things like that are going to help a lot, I think, in the communication. So, all right, if you found that question useful and the answer, and you'd like me to answer one of your questions, you can email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com. And don't forget to click that subscribe button. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.